Hey everybody, it's Rick Trummer from Rick Trummer Consulting and Training, and welcome to another video on the NIK Filter system. That's absolutely free. If you haven't noticed, over the last couple weeks, we've gone over the NIK filters that are absolutely free of cost. I really recommend you go out and grab this set. Again, if you just Google and free NIK filters, you'll be able to go right into the site and be able to download it, and they'll load right into the individual programs that you're going to be needing them from. So that's kind of what we've been working on for the last couple of weeks. And now in the start of the third week, we're going to be going into the Define 2 application that's inside here. We're just spending one quick day with this. There's not a whole lot to the noise reduction filter, the Define 2 noise reduction filter. So let's go in and I'll show you just a couple brief little items with this that you can go in and kind of do some different things. If you ever have a question from the NIK filter area, all you have to do is go to the help menu and you'll be able to get a lot of questions. If you go onto their site, they have a bunch of videos that you can kind of go in and they'll take into individual shots that they have and be able to show you some cool things as well. We're just kind of going in and doing some quick down and dirty techniquing with all of this stuff. So I'm hoping you're enjoying this series. So right now, as you can see, as soon as we came into this, we got to a point where we had these little items come up. Basically what happened is it went to an automatic setting on here. What I'm going to do is I can enlarge these. I can move them to a different area if I want to, or I can create a new one. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to have it analyze certain areas of the shot. As you can see, it went into areas of high contrast, which is exactly what it normally would do. And what we're going to do is we're just going to kind of move it around a little bit, take a look at the noise structure in each of this. As you're going in, you'll notice, let's go ahead and zoom into this area here. You'll be able to notice, if you go into the split screen mode especially, what kind of imagery we're going to be able to see here. Let's go back and forth. Let's just go right into here. So as you can see, we're getting a little bit here. It's not as sharp, and now we've got the NIK filter on here, and you can see it's much sharper inside there with that noise reduction filter on, which is awesome. We went into the manual setting. As you can see there up here, you can have a measure area where you can actually measure it, and it'll make self adjustments based on the areas that you put in. Or you can also click on the reduce button, which brings up a control panel where you can go into contrast noise and color noise, and you'll be able to adjust. This is a nice area to control chromatic aberration if you're having that. So you can specifically deal with your red, green, and blue points if you would like to do that inside the color area, which is very nice. It's a nice little setup, very quick, down and dirty. If you want to add a control point, you just come over, click on a control point, and what you'll be able to do is take your brush, bring my brush in this area. As you can see, the brush is a little bit large. I'm just going to bring it down a little bit, and you can do this area by itself, just like you did all of your other areas. If you wanted individual areas, let's say that you had some smaller areas that you wanted to self-correct, this would be the place to do it. Remember, if you want to copy this over, all you have to do is click on your Alter Option button, depending if you're Mac or PC, and you'll be able to copy your brush and your technique over to the one next door. Again, clicking on the full point here will give you all of the points that you'll be able to have. And as you can see here, you've got contrast noise and color noise that you'll be able to control on each of these individual points. So it's a nice area. I've always enjoyed having those control points in there and individual programs to be able to work with that inside the NIK software. So I think it's kind of a really intelligent way to go. So the Define 2 is actually a really nice program. It will remove some of that noise and do some sharpening techniques. Remember, when you go too far beyond sharpening, when you get into the point where you're sharpening too much or you're reducing noise, basically what happens is when you're reducing noise, you're gaining a little bit of blurriness to the shot is basically what's happening. It's bringing those points and it's reducing overall sharpness. When you over sharpen, you're getting haloing. So this program is very nice because it's going to smooth out those individual noise areas to be able to make it appear like it's actually, doesn't have any noise in it at all, which is really the definition of what define does. And once you're done with this, the nice thing about it is you can click OK, and it'll create a new level, or a new layer, excuse me, that we're going to be able to go in and be able to pull it out of certain areas that we don't want to be into. So again, once you're done with this quick explanation, you'll be able to go in, and here, of course, is your layer. And now you can go in and check out all of the points that it did and pull it off of any area. So, and remember, you can always come in here and reduce the opacity down of that individual layer when you're working on it. I always add a mask to this so that I've got the mask on, and then I'll be able to go in and be able to take away that particular sharpening technique or the noise reduction technique that we used, and you'll be able to do that. So again, just a reminder, noise reduction basically is just taking your sharpness down a little bit and creating a little bit of blurriness to be able to blend those areas in. And remember, Define does do a really, really nice job with this. And also, it's a nice area to be able to remove chromatic aberration. So, until tomorrow, I'm Rick Trummer from Rick Trummer Consulting and Training. I'm hoping you're enjoying this series on the NIK Filter. Tomorrow we're going to be starting another NIK Filter, and we're going to be finishing up the week with the same filter for the next 2 days. And then next week we're going to kind of finish up with the NIK Filter series. So I'm really hoping that you're enjoying this series on the NIK Filter. And again, I'm Rick Trummer from Rick Trummer Consulting and Training, and I'll see you on the tube.